I chose to overeat, I chose to undereat. It's my choice, really. I wish I could blame it on somebody else, that part. But I can't, because it still boils down to a decision that I have made. So everything in your life, where you're right at now, is the result of a decision that you made. You know, people say, well, I've wasted so many years. No, those years brought you to this place. Maybe those years were needed to make you smart enough to realize that that wasn't where you wanted to be. Well, you know, experience is the best teacher, Pastor. No, experience is not the best teacher. Experience will teach you, but it gives you the test first and then gives you the lesson. You're better off taking the lesson first and then writing the test. But see, too often we want to do it backwards, and we want to write the exams without even having studied yet. And then we go, well, that wasn't what I did, and that wasn't my fault. Of course it was your fault. Come on, man. Good word. So it's extremely, extremely important that we understand how to govern ourselves and how to take charge of our emotions, because how we feel will determine the decisions that we make. How many people do you meet when they fall in love and decide to get married, where they turn around and say, well, you know, I looked at this person, and I thought this was a person that had a nice, stable job. They were well connected to their family. They treated their families with respect. And they... Come on. And how many go, oh, but they make me feel so... They swept me off my feet. I felt so giddy. And your emotions got control. Now, it's not wrong to have the emotions, but don't live your life according to the emotions. Let the emotions follow the actions. We've said it before. How a person reacts before is how it's going to get worse from there. How a man treats his mother is going to determine a lot of how he treats his wife. How a woman relates to her father will determine a lot of her marriage problems. Why? Because this is the next male figure. So your decisions, life is a series of decisions. You're going to wake up, you start making decisions. And those decisions are going to determine what is going to happen in your life. At this point, I just want to interject something. One of the things that we have heard about quite a bit in the last little while, and it's come out through different times in prayer, it's come out through prophecy, it's come out through different things. And one of the things has been that we're in a season of change, but we're going to have to let go of the old before we can take the new. And the picture I have, I received as I was in prayer over this last week again. And I heard a story a while ago about a monkey, and somebody went out to catch monkeys. And they found out that the monkeys were too bright to go into the cave, or the cage. They would see the cage there, and they would choose not to go into the cage. No matter what they put in, they were just too bright. And they figured it out, this is going to trap me, so they wouldn't go. But what they could do, and the monkeys couldn't seem to figure out, was if they would put something that the monkey wanted in the cage, and then close the cage. And all they had to do was make sure that the bars were close enough together that when he reached in and grabbed it, he couldn't pull it through. And the monkey would be holding the banana or whatever it was and trying to get it out and couldn't get it out, but wouldn't let go of it. So they could come along and they could catch these monkeys outside the cage that they couldn't catch inside the cage. And the picture I have is a lot of Christians are standing on the outside, hanging on to something they need to let go of. We want this, but we've got to let go of that. I don't want to let go of this. David and Melissa have made a choice now that they're going to be married. I haven't talked to them yet, but I suspect that the plan is going to be they're going to live happily together ever after. That they're going to have their own house. I expect Melissa's not going to be living at her mom and dad's and David at his mom and dad's. Not if I know Henry Val. They made a choice. But before they can make that choice to live together happily ever after, they're going to have to let go of this. about in marriage counseling, which we'll be starting with now, is the leave and cleave concept. Guess what, Melissa? You're going to have to let go of your father's house. Huh? No, that's my mom and dad. I'm going to go there, I'm going to live there, I'm going to eat there, I'm going to sleep there, I'm going to... David? Because you got to let go of that before you can have this. You cannot drag this together. That monkey is sitting there hanging on, but he's made a decision that this is more worth to him than his freedom. The decision is what brought him there. Now you can say, well, the monkey can turn around and say, well, it's not my fault. The banana was too big. No, it's your fault. You didn't let go of it. You're too greedy. You wanted it all. You can't have it all. Now, most people that I know of, once they've made that decision to leave and cleave, wouldn't undo it. I'm saying most. I know there's always some that would. But most people don't want to go back to the way it was. They don't want to go back and live with mom and dad's. They don't want to go back and say, oh, well, gee, I made a mistake and now I'm going to come here and I'm going to move back in here and we're just going to live here for the rest of our lives. They made the decision, they made the choice to leave and to cleave, and they don't want to undo it. But they have to do it before they can find out that they don't want to undo it. Then your decision is going to take you to step 5, which is your action. Your actions will determine, or your decisions will determine your actions, and your actions are going to cause the increase. We're finally getting to the point where you're going to come to the place now where you're going to be able to start living in the prosperity. You're going to start living on the increase. See, faith without works is dead, according to James chapter 2, verse 17. So you have to start acting like what you just decided. Did you get that?
Yes.
You start acting like what you just decided. You start talking like what you just decided. Now, if you have made the choice to walk in material prosperity, you may not be able to go out and buy yourself a $1,000 suit right away, but you can get yourself a good suit and then have it cleaned properly.
Yeah.
See, you get yourself a nice shirt and a tie and you start taking care of it. Even though you can't afford the $1,000 one, you start treating this one as though it was. You start acting like what you have decided. So you take care of the car that you have now. You know, people say, well, once I get that little Lamborghini, then I'll start treating it properly. Once I get that Porsche, then I'm going to start cleaning it. Once I get... No, you won't. You start acting now like what you've decided. Now I'm using material things because material things are so easy to use as a facsimile here. You know, it's much harder. But we're going to get to some of that else later. So you start treating that right now like it is what you wanted. You start taking that car that you have and you start getting it washed. You start vacuuming it. You start polishing it. You start keeping it clean. You don't let it become the junkyard for all wrappers from McDonald's.
No.
You know, there's people that have to clean the wrappers of their back seat before someone can sit in there. It's become a mobile junkyard. No. You start treating that car now like it's the one you wanted. You start treating this one because that is the action that you can put to the faith. That is the action that you can put to what you're believing for. So you clean and you fix your house. You know, there's something, oh, this old dump, I don't like this house. This isn't the house I want, so I'm just going to keep believing God, and I'm going to keep waiting until God gives me that, $360,000 mansion with the bowling alley in the basement and the pool outside. Then I'm going to start treating it properly. No, you won't. I can tell you as sure as the sun is coming up tomorrow that you won't. Unless you learn to do that now. Yeah, but this is an old house. It doesn't matter. Start fixing it. You may not be able to go out and put new siding and a new roof and new windows and new flooring and everything in today, but you can clean it.
That's right.